All right, I can see my face. So let's start 3 Oms and Sahana Bhavatu. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinabadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Stotram. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpatham Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam, Yatkim Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darsitam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Harivu. So we are in the 3rd chapter, just finished sloka 26 and 27 maybe. So up to 26, Vidyaranya is analyzing that consciousness which is inside, which cannot be negated. So it is as though it's not the body, it's not the mind, it's not the intellect. I have to go innermost sanctum sanctorium to see what is that. So Pancha Koshas I have rejected, and I am looking at now what is that. So he says, if you reject everything, there is nothing left. He says, no. There has to be something because of which you say there is nothing is left. So there is a conscious entity, and that consciousness which cannot be experienced because it is the very experiencer in all experiences, and that cannot be negated. So that which cannot be dismissed because I have to be there to dismiss, and I cannot negate myself, and that is existent consciousness, which is different from, he said, either idruk or sadruk or any druk. Druk means that which I can see. So idruk is that I can directly see through the perceptions, through the senses. All the whole world is not that, because I can reject the whole world when I go to dream state or a deep sleep state. And the tadruk, that means that which can be known indirectly, not by senses, by logical analysis. I can know based on what I see, like all the forces and all that I can deduce based on the observations. So from that basis I can reject even those tadruk, means those logical deductions or any concepts based on this is Lord, this is Lord, this is all that can be rejected, because They are all essentially knowable things, either directly or indirectly. So therefore, I am rejecting everything. So everything is rejected. This is not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not even the Ananda that I get in the deep sleep state. That is also not me, because I am, because of which I am conscious of this body, conscious of the mind, conscious of the intellect, and also conscious of the experience of deep sleep state, because I say I slept well. So I was there experiencing the deep sleep state. Then who am I? I am none of these, yet they are all in me, but I am not them. I can reject everything, but I cannot reject. So both the direct knowledge, that is perceptual knowledge, or indirect knowledge, that is the gained by the logical analysis, I am not that. That's what essentially in the 27th sloka. So now he is introducing that. So then what is that? I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is my nature. Satchidananda Swarupam. So that what is the Brahman. So his Brahman is, that's what how it is. Taittiriya Upanishad defines, and the sloka 28. Avedyopi aparokshataha saprakasho bhavatyayam satyam jnanam anantam cha iti Ityastiha Brahma Lakshanam. These are indicated definitions of Brahman. Brahman being infinite, I cannot really define Brahman, because any definition is only for a finite objects. Because a definition is that which distinguishes that object from other objects. That's what a definition is. So therefore, it is not an object to distinguish from some other object, because there is no other object in, say, Brahman. Infinite, there cannot be anything else other than infinite. And therefore, all I can say is, from the point of that Vyavaharika, from the point of myself as a Jiva, it is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It is only a teaching to the Jiva, indicating something which cannot be indicated. Since I am looking for Ananda, that is absolute happiness, I cannot find anywhere, any object there is no happiness. So I have to recognize that which is limitless alone is Ananda, and that is Anantam. Anantam means infinite. That alone is Brahman. So scripture defines as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, as in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So iti Brahma Lakshanam. This is the indicatory definitions. Satyam means it is not asatyam. Satyam means that which is existing. So that which is non-existent cannot be Brahman. Brahman has to exist. And Jnanam, it is Jnana Swarupam. Swarupam means it is nature of the knowledge itself. It is not knowledge of X, Y, Z. Those are objective knowledge. But it is pure knowledge, because of which I am conscious of, or I am knowledge of everything else in the world. Both direct perceptual knowledge or conceptual knowledge. So that is Jnana Swarupam. Swarupam means it is not, its intrinsic nature. That's called is the Jnanam. And that is like a H2O is intrinsic nature of water. H2O is not a property of water, but H2O is water, water is H2O. It's called Swarupam. It is intrinsic structure. In the same way, Satyam Jnanam Anantam cha iti. That is what is the nature of Brahman as a Lakshanam. Lakshanam is indicatory definitions, pointing in the direction for me to take off. It's not that Vedanta is going to tell you this is Brahman. It says you think in that direction. You have to inquire into that direction to find out. So that is what is indicated. So from now on, he is going to essentially define that Satyam aspect of it. Satyam, Jnanam already he did so far, and Anantam aspect is going to do those two. So let's look at sloka 29. Satyatvam badharahityam Satyatvam badharahityam Jagat badaika sakshinaha Jagatbadaika sakshinaha Badah kim sakshiko bruhi Badah kim sakshiko bruhi Natva sakshika ishyate Natva sakshika ishyate. Together. Satyatvam badharahityam jagadmadhaika sakshinaha badakim sakshiko bruhi natva sakshika ishyate. So Satyatvam, Satyatvam means pure existence. Badharahityam, it cannot be Badha. Badha means it cannot be negated. So pure existence cannot be negated. See, if I negate pure existence, what is left? If something is left, that means something exists. So if there is an existence of something, that means existence still exists. So existence cannot be negated. So if say glass exists, so there is an existence that supports the glass, but where exactly existence we cannot say. Everything is part, every part is existing, but existence is not a part of the glass, but that because of which glass exists is the very existence, and it is there outside the glass because the space exists. So even space is also within the existence itself. So that's why scripture says existence alone was there before creation, and that itself became many. So that's all the Upanishads talks about. And therefore Satyatvam, that existence cannot be negated, because who is going to negate? I have to negate it, because I have to be there to negate it. But I cannot negate myself because I have to exist to negate it. So existence can never be negated. Satyatvam badharahityam. So it is cannot be negated. That Jagat Madhaika Sakshinaha. Even I can negate the whole universe. Jagat means if I go to deep sleep state, whole universe is gone. I am there, but I cannot negate myself because I say I am there. That means I exist and I am conscious entity. But not I am conscious of my deep sleep state because the mind is folded. And therefore, but still I am there. And that is that Jagat Badhaika Sakshi, the one who is conscious of the rejection of even the world, because this world I am seeing in the waking state, and when I go to a dream state, I reject the whole universe of the waking state, and I am having a new world of dream state, and even that I reject, and then I go to a deep sleep state. I am there in the deep sleep state, but I rejected the waking state and the dream state. Both of them are states are rejected, but that which remains after rejection of everything is Jagat, that includes all the words, is Jagat, is Badhaika Sakshina, that witnessing consciousness that I am. So who is that I am? That I am an existent entity, I am a conscious entity, and I cannot say I am this, that, or this, or objects, and I am not an object, I am a subject. So I cannot be an object, but yet I am there. So that has to be understood by analysis. Okay? So not that I have to go to deep sleep state for me to recognize, because the mind is not there to recognize it. Even though I am not there, I need the mind, yet I am not the mind. So I had to use the mind to recognize I am not the mind. You follow? That is where it is a tricky problem. So essentially, looking at the mind and say, I am not the mind, using the mind, and by the mind, and I had to say I have the mind. Therefore, I had to do just like looking at my hand, you say it's not the hand, it is the light because of which your hand is seeing. Right? Because the light only you are seeing. If there is no light, you cannot see that. So, even though, but if I don't have the light, you cannot see the light there. So, I need the hand. At the same time, I have to reject the hand. Neti, neti, not this, not this. Yet, I had to concentrate that because of which hand is seen. That because of which the mind is known. That because of which whole objects are known. That consciousness that illumines the whole universe itself, that is the Sakshi, that is the witnessing Sakshi, that is the witnessing consciousness. So I had to do this while I am awake now. This is knowledge, but I had to use. So when I am looking at any object, I had to see I am conscious of that object. So consciousness is as though illumining. Even the light, I know see it because I am conscious of the light. So even the light also I am illumining, and that I had to shift my attention in every perception, in every knowledge. I am there as the consciousness, as the beaming light because of which I am conscious of. So that becomes the meditation. So meditation is not sitting there closing my eyes, that may be practice, but now in and through, when I am looking at the world, I had to recognize my own presence, what because of me I can see. Without me, I cannot see. So that is Sakshi, that is the witnessing consciousness, because I am witnessing the whole universe also. Without me, the universe cannot even establish the existence. If I am not there, no one can say that the universe is. Some conscious entity has to illumine. Otherwise, existence of the universe is, because universe is inert, doesn't say I am there. Universe doesn't say I am there. So therefore, that is called Sakshi. Sakshi is witnessing consciousness. Natu asakshikaha ishyate. Therefore, that which without the consciousness, that sakshi, says nothing is acceptable, or nothing is essentially, existence of anything cannot be established without consciousness. So consciousness has to be there, and consciousness has to exist. We are not talking about non-existent consciousness. So consciousness existent, that called Satchit, and that is limitless, is called Anandam. So called Satchidanandam is my own nature. Because happiness is not outside, happiness is coming from me only. So how is this? He says you can empty. So he gives an example here. So somebody says, please empty this room. So okay, but what do we do? Say completely empty it. So you remove everything there in the room and says this is empty. Say no, you didn't empty it. Why? There is a space there. So how can I empty this space? I can empty everything, so I can only empty that which can be objectified. All objects I can empty, but space I cannot empty. In the same way, I can empty everything, negate everything other than myself, because I had to be there even to negate everything else. So even to negate myself, I have to be there already. Because that is the absolute truth. So that is what is going to be talked in the next two slokas. Apaniteshu murteshu, apaniteshu murteshu, hyamurtim sishyate viyat, hyamurtim sishyate viyat, sakyeshu bhaditeshvante, sakyeshu bhaditeshvante, sishyate yatta devatat, sishyate yatta devatat. Together, apaniteshu murteshu, hyamurtim sishyate viyat, sakyeshu bhaditeshvante, sishyate yatta devatat. So, murteshu, apaniteshu. Murteshu is that which has a murti. Murti means that has a form. That means that which is objectifiable things. Apaniteshu, I can remove from the room. Right? I can reject anything that can be objectified. So I'm giving room as an example. So mentally also I can remove everything, and anything that can be objectified is not me, because I am a subject and this is an object. Object is different from a subject. So anything, so I cannot conceptualize, oh, this is God or this is that, anything, this is not me. So how can I say I am? All I can say, I am that I am, right? That's a biblical statement also. I am, I cannot add any qualifications, because any qualifications is an objectification. And therefore, apaniteshu, murteshu, rejection of all objects, objectifiable things, he, amurtim sishyate. If I reject everything, what remains is amurtim, that which is formless alone is, that is not, cannot be objectified alone is left behind when I reject everything else. Amurtim sishyati, that which remains. Viyat, it is like a space. So I am emptying everything in the room, but I cannot empty the space, because space doesn't have a form for me to remove it. So sakyate baditeshyante sishyate yatta devatatu. So sakyate baditeshu, whatever sakti means whatever is capable of removing that we can objectively reject, anything that, any conceptual thing about myself, I say I cannot conceptualize myself, I am this. Oh, I have to reject that also. Oh, I saw beautiful light in my dream. Can you see? Yes, then it's not that. Because you are seeing anything that can be seen. Yat chakshura napasyati, that which eyes cannot see. Then what is that? Yat chakshum sipasyati, that because of which eyes can see. Right? That which I cannot think of, but because of which I can think of. that capacity, the life force in me that I cannot, this is life force I cannot say. Because of life force only I can say something, but that which cannot be conceptualized, objectified, but I am there. Don't say I am nothing. I am everything, in fact. Right? So that I am is Sakyeshu Baditeshu Ante. Ante, that which cannot be, is in the end that I can, anything that I reject as, whatever that I can reject, means I had to reject, I am not any of this. And Sishyate, whatever remaining, Yatad Eva Tat, that is that. Because you cannot say anything else. Any statement is, and again, objectification. All I can say is I have to keep silent. Right? Who are you? Any statement, I am, if at all, I have to stop. If I say all our biodata, I am, anything you add, this is objects. But for transact, don't have to say, everybody asks, who are you? I am, and keep quiet. So, teenagers, because they stop, because of what? Because nothing. So, I had to, for transactional purposes, I can use for transactions, knowing well, this is only meant for transactions. But in reality, I cannot objectify myself. That should be understood. Operate. Okay, let's do Sloka 31. Sarvabadhena kinchit chet, Sarvabadhena kinchit chet, Yanna kinchit tadeva tat, Yanna kinchit tadeva tat, Bhasha evanna vidyante, Bhasha evanna vidyante, Nirbadham tavadastahi, Nirbadham tavadastahi. Together. Sarvabadhena kinchit che, Yanna kinchit tadeva tat, Bhasha evanna vidyante, Nirbadham tavadastihi. So sarvabadhe na kinchit chet. So when sarvabhadhe, everything, sarvam, everything that I can remove it, not this, not this, not this, I am not this, I am not this. So sarvabhadhe, everything is negated. Na kinchit chet, that nothing is left. If you say nothing, if I reject everything, there nothing is left. So, yatna kinchitu tadevatitu, that because of which you are able to say that nothing is there, that is it. What is it? That because you are the one who is going to say nothing is there for me to reject anymore, because you are there to reject everything. So when you go to a room, there is nobody there, right? So is there anybody there? So no one is there here. But to say no one is there, you should be there. If you are not there, I cannot say no one is there. In the same way, I can reject everything that is possible, but I cannot reject myself. Yat nakinchit tadeva tata. That whatever remains is that it is the absolute truth. Okay? Atra bhasha eva. So vidyate. So even the language itself fails there. I cannot make any statement about it, because whatever vacha, manasa, everything else return back from there. That's what scripture says. Says that which neither I can say nor I can think of, but that's because of which I am able to say or not able to say. That is the essence of myself, and that is the essence of the truth, because the truth is that which cannot be negated. I can negate everything, but I cannot negate, that's a fact. Truth cannot be negated. And that which cannot be negated absolutely is my own self. That I am, cannot be rejected. And that is the essence of it is. Atra bhasha eva. Even there, the language itself fails itself, because language is to communicate. And that is tat eva tat. That indeed is that Brahman. So Brahman is that which exists when everything else is negated, and that existent Brahman cannot be rejected, and therefore it is the very existence that supports everything else. I am there, and because of me, I can say this is there, that is there, the whole world is there. Without my presence, the existence of the object cannot be established. It may be there, it may not be there. It's indeterminate problem. But I have to be there to say, yes, there is a table there, or there is absence of the table also I have to say. Hey, is there a table there in that room? No, it is not there. Why? I don't see. That means I don't see an object whose attributes that I know as a table. Right? That means I should have knowledge of table before for me. Hey, is there Gaba Boo there in the other room? Say, what is Gaba Boo? I don't know, but go and see. If I don't know what Gaba Boo is, I cannot know whether it is there or there, even if it is there. So for me to know, I should have some knowledge of its existence for me to say that it exists. But for me to know myself, I don't need any means of knowledge. Okay? And that nirbadham tavat asti sasi. Nirbadham, that which cannot be negated, tavat asti. Indeed, is always present. I am always present because there is beyond the time also I am there. Beyond the space also I am there. Why? Because when I go to deep sleep state, I am there. I slept very well. So how long you slept? I don't know. Only when I get up and say, oh my God, I slept that long. So I don't have the concept of time, concept of space, but I was there because I am beyond the space and time also. So this is what is going to tell in the next few slokas. I am beyond the time. That is called transcending. But I don't have to go to sleep in order to, because I am not conscious of myself also. In the sense that for me to recognize, mind is required. For you to see the light here, a hand is required. Right? Object is required. At the same time, using the hand, at the same time I have to recognize the light. So I need the mind to recognize myself. Mind doesn't establish myself. Mind is there. I am even enlivening the mind also. But I need the mind even to know that I am. So that's why it is only, the problem is the mind gets entangled with the world outside, forgetting or turning inwards, introverted, introspection is not there. I'm only looking out and the whole objects, and that's all my life is. So I had to turn inwards to examine who is that I am in order for me to see the truth. Okay, let's go to sloka 32. Atayeva shrutir badhyam bhaditva seshayatyadaha sa esha niti nityatma ityadvyavrutti Ityadvavrutti together. Atayeva shrutir badhyam bhaditva seshayatyadasha saesha niti nityatma ityadvavrutti rupataha. So atayeva, ataha eva saha atma. So therefore that indeed is the self. What is the self? Self is a soul that we all, or people use long words. Self is I am. I am the essence of the self. I am is, I am a conscious entity. I am is existent entity. That is the very core of myself. And everything else that is essentially addition for transaction purposes. I am this body. I am this body. So this is an object. I am a subject. I'm using the body for my transactions. So for transactionally I can use it, but don't get carried away that you are that only. Because all our problem is, if the body is fat, I am fat. If body is lean, I am lean. So properties of the body has become my properties because I associate myself with intensely. So body is sick and body is getting old and body is changing. All body's problem is like a natural problem. That is the body's properties. But I am that enlivening the changes in the body also. And therefore I don't change. That's why I say when I was a child, I did. So I can recollect when I was a child, I am now. So I am is not changing, even though child body is different and the body now is different, and when I become old, the body changes, but I am that one which is enlivening all these states also. And that I can recollect only because I am the one who was there. That's called pratyabhijna. That which constant I am in the changing things is essentially akandakara vritti also. They use a word in the Vedanta, akandakara vritti. Akanda means unbroken, akara means the form, vritti is the thought. So a thought that I am, and everything else I add to it is changing, but I am that changeless entity which is unbroken I am, is there all the time. I cannot negate myself anytime. Okay, so therefore, ataha, that is, so yesha neti neti nityatma. So what is that left behind after negating is that indeed is the Brahma. So I had to use neti, neti, neti in order to inquire who am I. Who am I is inquiring what? I cannot say I am this. All I can say is I am not this. So by process of rejection of anything that can be conceptualized, I had to arrive at myself, who is that, which is left behind after that. Oh, and then I am that. That is not that, because you are again conceptualizing. So any concept in the mind, even the meditation will say, I am this, any concept is again has to be rejected, because anything is objectified. So I am that, which is, how can I do it? So in and through concepts, I had to see myself. Okay, so in and through every perception I am there. That is the knowledge. That knowledge has to be there. So etadu vyavrutti rupataha. So that etadu, that which remains as vyavrutti, means essentially by the negation of all this, is what remains is this self indeed that I am. So the process of negation is recommended initially to arrive at who is that I am. So remember, that is only one aspect of the tvam padartham. Who is that I am? But what I rejected also I have to now include later. Because I am that also, because otherwise I am getting limited. But I am limitless. So how can I be limitless when I am rejected? Not this I am, not this I am. So that is different from I am. So what I am rejecting is only superficial names and forms only. I pervade even all this universe also has to be understood. And that's why Vedanta becomes a means of knowledge. Otherwise, I can sit down logically, oh, all I have to do is who am I inquiry? Who am I inquiry will make me smaller and smaller. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm becoming smaller only. But I have to expand myself to include everything also as I am. For that only, I say, how can I be? I am this table, I am this chair. So that's why you have to see. That's what we will do it in the Gita class, next class. We will see that. Okay, where are we? Okay, 34.
33. 33.
Oh.
You finished 33.
Okay. Idam rupam tu yadjavatu. Idam rupam tu yadjavatu. Tattachaktum sakyate khilam. Tatyam saktum sakyate khilam. Asakyo hyanidam rupaha. Yadakyo hyanidam rupaha. Sa atma badha varjitaha. Atma badha varjitaha. Together. Idam rupam tu yadyavatu. Tatyak sakyate khilam. Asaktyo hyanidam rupaha sa atma badha varjitaha. So continuing on this theme, it says idam rupam. Idam is this rupam is any form. Idam rupam, this whole universe is nothing but this. Anything I can point out is this. So therefore, whole universe I can point out this galaxy, that galaxy, or this universe. Whole thing can be pointed out. It becomes idam. Idam comes under whole universe itself. So idam rupam tad yadu ayavatu. So yad avatu, that which is everything, including this body, mind and intellect, also idam. So idam shariram kaunteya. So in the 13th chapter, Bhagavad Gita says, idam shariram, this body, pointing out, is, hey kaunteya, is kshetram, is the field that I can reject because I am a knower of the field. Kshetrajna. So that anything that can point it out as idam can be rejected. So idam rupam tu yadyavatu tat sakyum. Whatever that can be sakyate, akhilam, everything that is whole universe I can reject as not me. Asakyu yanidam rupam, that which cannot be rejected at all, which is that remains, he, idam rupam, that leftover, sa-atma, that is the self, and bhadavarjitaha, that is beyond any negation itself. So therefore, that which cannot be objectified, that which cannot be negated, and that which is not possible to negate also. Asakya means impossible to negate, because I have to be there even to negate myself. Indeed, he bhadavarjitaha, that which is atma, that alone I am. Therefore, essentially, he is establishing, I am an existent entity, and my existence itself cannot be rejected. So, what was the scripture's statement? Existence alone was there before creation. So, I was there alone myself in the deep sleep state, but only when I am awakened, whole world came. Because I have there in this deep sleep state, but in the local everyday we are experiencing, creating the whole world also. But what was the world was the same world that I left yesterday night, right? The same computer, same spouse and same, everything is the same that was left behind. So previous things come back, even in the creation also. That's called pralayam. This is called layam. Layam is everyday sleep is layam. Pralayam is God sleeping is pralayam. When he gets up, the whole thing again comes out, what in the same form that was left behind in a varieties of things also. So creation, sustenance is like for us, it's a cyclic process. Only when I get out of this whole creation business, where I can realize that I am beyond all this. That's called transcending state of, because everything is within the time, cause-effect relationships. I have to go beyond the time itself. We are still. Siddhim Brahmani Satyatvam, Siddhim Brahmani Satyatvam, Jnanatvam tu pareritam, Jnanatvam tu pareritam, Swayamevanubhutitvat, Swayamevanubhutitvat, Ichyadi vachanaisphutam, Ichyadi vachanaisphutam. Together, Siddhim Brahmani Satyatvam, Jnanatvam tu pareritam, Swayamevanubhutitvat, Ichyadi vachanaisphutam. So in Brahmani, in the Brahman, that means the infiniteness, Satyatvam, the existent part, Siddhim, we have established up to this. That means that has to be there, existence that I am has to be there, and I cannot reject myself. Jnanatvam tu pura, we already established in the previous slokas, pura means in the previous slokas, indeed, Jnanatvam, I am also a conscious entity, I am an existent entity and I am a conscious entity. That I am conscious entity has been established in where? Swayameva anubhutitvad, in the sloka that starts with Swayameva anubhutitvad. So in the sloka 13, if you go back, it says Swayamenuvanubhutitva Vijjate nanubhavyata Jnatur jnanantara bhava Jneyo natva sattaya. That is sloka 13. He has established, so he is essentially referring back his own sloka 13. Since we have already established, I am beyond I am the Jnana Swarupam. Here we establish, I am Sat Swarupam. Sat means existent nature is my nature, and I am also consciousness. Is also, what is that consciousness? Anything that I know, because that's what the problem is. Knowledge means, how do you define knowledge? You know, if you go to knowledge, knowledge cannot be defined. Knowledge, I can only define knowledge of X, Y, Z. Knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of biology, knowledge of physics. I can only define knowledge of something. But what is pure knowledge? Science also means knowledge, right? Seer, it comes from the word seer, science. Science means knowledge. Veda also means knowledge. With this, in Sanskrit, Ved means to know. Seer means to know. Science means knowledge. And Veda also means knowledge. So Veda is actually a science, literally meaning also. So here, that which pure knowledge cannot be defined. So it is jnana and jnatru. It is different from knower and the known, because any knowledge involves a knower, known and knowing. These are called triad. Three aspects are involved in any knowledge. So seer, I am a seer, this is a seen, and the process of seeing. So in everything this is called triad. Three aspects are involved, but that which is beyond this, which supports all the three, the knower, known and the knowing, are all in my mind only. The process occurs in the mind, but I am the very support for the mind. It's I know even the mind, and that become beyond which is the jnana swarupam. So jnanatvam tu pareritam. So jnanatvam, the knowledge of that part is has been established because I am pure existent consciousness. So I give a simple example. If you are in a pitch dark room, we say, are you there? Say, I am. So how do you know you are there? So what do you mean, how do you know you are there? I know I am there. So you cannot see yourself, it's too dark. So how do you know you exist? So I don't need to see myself to know that I am there. I don't need to hear you in order to establish my existence. I am existent only because of that I can establish everything else. My existence, and I am a conscious entity, I am an existent entity. I don't need anyone to tell me. Even scripture is not needed for me to tell me I am existent consciousness. I don't need a scripture to tell me you are existent. Because I am existent only, scripture can be validated. Then what is scripture for? It tells you what you are looking for is already that. You are not looking for existence, you are not looking for consciousness. What are you looking for? Everybody is looking for happiness. So scripture says you are that happiness that you are looking for. There is no happiness in anywhere. So however much you gain outside, you still feel that you are unhappy, you want some more. So you go on and you have millions, billions, still you are unhappy because you are looking for happiness which is not there outside. And therefore, you have to recognize that I am that happiness itself. And happiness is limitless. Any limitation causes me unhappiness. So it is essentially, I am Purnam. I am infinite. That is what scripture tells you. You are not only Sat and Chit, you are Ananda Swarupa. So Swayameva Anubhutitvat. So by the statement of that in the 13th sloka, everything as Ichya Adi Vachana Isputam. Therefore, I have established that everything is I am. The self is existent consciousness. Now establish I am also Ananda Swarupa. I am also happy. Happiness is my nature. So why am I looking for happiness? If I am happy, if I am already happy, why am I looking for? That's what scripture. Why are you looking for? Look inside and you will find yourself, because happiness you get outside is only from you only. If coffee gives you happiness, then more coffee, more happiness. First coffee is okay, second coffee tolerable, third coffee miserable. So coffee is not happiness. And the other fellow says, no, it's not coffee that's happiness, it's tea. So we are looking for happiness, but when I have agitation that I want coffee, when the coffee comes, I am back to myself only. A quietened mind, a contented mind is a happy mind. Contentment comes when I am not looking for anything because I feel I am already full. And scripture says you are already full actually. Look back and think properly, analyze yourself, because you are confused about yourself and you are confusing everybody else in the process. So how can I establish I am limitless? This is a question, right? So here the next few slokas is I am Anantam. Anantam means limitless. Anantam means Anandam. Anandameva, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, or Satchid, Anandam, both are same equivalent. Ananta means infinite, is same as limitless and same as happy state, because any limitation causes unhappiness. So they understand the next few slokas, we have to understand what are the limitations, because I am limitless. So what are the limitations? There are three types of limitations that scripture says. These are called Desha, Kala, Vastu, Parichinnatvam. Desha means spatial limitation. I am only located here, I am not there. I wish I am there also. So people want to be here and people want to be there also simultaneously. But you are limited. Hey, I am sorry, I can't be there. I cannot meet you there because I have to go here. So this is a desha. Desha means spatially I am limited, because I take the limitations of my body as my limitations. I identify the body as I am, therefore I take the limitations of the body as body is spatially limited. And therefore, I am also limited. That is one problem. That's called Desha Parichinnam. Parichinnam means limitations. And Kala Parichinnam. Kala means time-wise I am limited. I have only 24 hours per day, 7 days a week, 24 hours only I have. Please don't give me, I have too many. A lot of people pack so much that they become restless because they have only 24 hours. They wish they have more time. But they have more time, they will pack more only. So it is unsolved problem. But therefore it is Kala Parichinnam. I have a date of birth and I have a date of death. So there is a dash only in bit, nothing else to say. So I am dashing from birth to death, and that is what my limitations are. Everybody that is born has to die. Tatasya dhruvo mrityu. Krishna says, whatever is born has to die. That's the law of nature. But what is born is the body. I take myself body, therefore I am having a date of birth. And the body is going to die, and there I have a date of death. So I am identifying with the body only. I have a time-wise limitations. Time-wise limitations or space-wise limitations. And Vastu Parichinnam. Vastu is object. Object-wise limitations. Any object is limited by its own property. Why? Because every object has property. So how do I define? Any chemistry will define what? What are its properties? From that I can define what the chemical is. So I need to use the properties in order to define the object. So every object has particular properties which is different from the other object which has different properties. So these properties of this is limits its own compared to other, because it doesn't have other properties. Other object has other properties and this object has this properties. This object doesn't have other properties. If it has other properties, then I get confused whether this or that. So each object by definition, any finite object by definition is limited by its vastu. Vastu means properties wise. So therefore, am I belong to any of those criteria where I have a time-wise limitation, space-wise limitation, or object-wise limitation? And says this, he says, when you are in the deep sleep state, you have none of these limitations. Because when I say, because there is no time, there is no space, there is no objects also. That's why it is so beautiful. Sleep, nobody wants to get up. Because that is Anandam. Because limitless, there is nothing else other than you. If only something else, there is a problem. Okay? That's why Dvitiyardho Bhayam Bhavati. Only the second one causes fear. First one, I don't cause fear for myself, it only causes fear from the second. And that's what is going to use as an analysis. It says, even the space is not there in the deep sleep state. Therefore, you won't beyond the space also. Time is not there because the time is a gap between two sequential events is time. Space is a gap between two simultaneous observations is space. So you have no events and no this one at all to be beyond time and space too. So that's what is going to be analyzed in the next sloka. Navyapitva deshatonto Vyapitva jeshatunto nityatvannapi kalataha nityatvannapi kalataha navastutopi sarvatnyat navastutopi sarvatnya anantyam brahmani tridha Anantyam brahmani tridha. Together. Navyapitva jeshatunto nityatvannapi kalataha navastutopi sarvatnyat anantyam brahmani tridha. So vyaptitva, vyapaka means pervasiveness. So being omnipresent, deshataha by the space. Space is omnipresent. That's what we say. Where is the space? Is there a space where space is not there? So if there is a space, then it is space. So space by definition is infinite. Right? But itself is limited. Even though it's spatially, space is limitless, is how you have to understand. Even though space is limitless spatially, but its time-wise limited. How? Because when I go to deep sleep state, it's not there. So it is not nityam. Nityam means it is not eternally present. Means all times it has to be there. Even the time itself is gone. In the deep sleep, time itself is anityam. Because in the deep sleep state, there is no time also. Because time comes only with the events. Because I need two events to define a time. Sequential. That's why Einstein definition is two sequential events define the time. Therefore, if there are no events, events are within the space and time only. So, if there are no events, then I am beyond the time. So, even the space is limited because it's not nityam. It is not eternally present, ever present, because it's not present in the deep sleep state. Kalataha api, even the time is also not there in the deep sleep state. So, even desam, that means space itself is not there. Time, kala, desha, kala, vastu. These are the three limitations. Time-wise, space-wise, things are limited. But even space and time are limited with respect to me, because I am there beyond the space and time also. As in every day, in the deep sleep state, everybody can experience themselves as that. But only problem in deep sleep state is I have no knowledge of myself. Even though I am there, as an existent conscious entity, because the conscious of what? Conscious of non-existence of everything. Right? Because I say I slept very well and there was nothing there. I don't know. That means I have knowledge of, I don't know anything. That is all that. I don't know that I don't know also. Because for that also my mind is there. But I am there. So that is my real nature. So navastu topi sarvatnyat anantyam brahmanistada. So sarvatmyat. So not being pervaded Vasutaha. So all objective differences are essentially is not there in the Brahmani. Brahmani is beyond all these things, because it is that what is in the deep sleep state. And the deep sleep state is also defined as Ishvara in the Mandukya Upanishad, where we took in that. In the 6th mantra, it defines in the deep sleep state what is there. What is there is Ishvara only. Lord himself. Even the Lord is what? How do you define Lord? You cannot define it. Lord is nothing but Sakshi, same conscious existence is the Lord itself. And that is what it is. And that is what defined in the next mantra, in this mantra 7. Nanta pragyam na bhai pragyam no bhayata pragyam na pragyana ghanam na pragyam na pragyam. All good, not this, not this, not this, not this. That which is Advaitam Shatutam Manyante Sa Atma Savigneya. That is that Atma. So, Anantyam is that which is absent in all things, Trividha. All these types of differences are not there in the Brahmani, in the consciousness that I am. None of them are there, and that is I am. Okay? So, I cannot say anything beyond by process of negation. But my existence is not negated. So, it's not I am nothing. I am in fact everything that is there in that deep sleep state. So let's do one more sloka. Desha kalanya vastunam kalpitatva cha mayaya kalpitatvacha mayaya na deshadikrutum tosti brahmanantyam sfutam tataha together deshakalanya vasturam kalpitatvacha mayaya na deshadikrutum tosti brahmanantyam studam tadaha. So, Desha Kala Anyavastunam, Desha Kalam, Desham Kalam, Desham is the space and Kalam is time, Anyavastunam, and no other object wise, no other objects there to limit me. So, anything limiting adjuncts are not there in that state. That is my say. Because they are all kalpitatvacha maya. They are all essentially kalpanam. Kalpanam is only imaginary things are there. What is there in the whole universe is kalpana. Kalpana means it's only an imagination in that. Whose imagination is that? That we have to be clear. That's what we'll look into a little bit in the Gita class also. Where what exactly is the universe? Also we have to look into that. But at least from that point, because it is kalpana is only because it is by maya. In this previous chapter we discussed, it is by maya, Shakti, the whole universe is as though projected. Yama samaya, that which is not really there but appears to be there, and that is maya. And that because of which the whole is maya means it is neither real nor unreal. Real is that which remains the same all the time is real. But it's not there during dream state and deep sleep state, therefore it's not really real. But it's unreal, it's not, I can say it's not unreal because I'm experiencing that it is neither real nor unreal. That's why it's called maya. And therefore, Mayanam, this is kalpitatvad. It appears to be there. So any appearance is only a mithya. So nadeshadi krutontastu brahmanantyam sputam tataha. So there nadesha adikrutaha. Nadesha adikrutaha. So neither the space, adi means neither space, time, vastu, none of them are there, and all are essentially due to maya. So kutaha antaha says, how can there be a limit for nasti? For that, because all other limitations are only for these things only in the object-wise limitations, space-wise limitations, time-wise limitations, or within the time and space only. That which is beyond time and space, that is the real transcendent. Where that is transcending veil understanding only. Veil looking at the world, I can say the world is not there. How? In there, from the absolute point, it's not there. For transactional purpose, drama I can play. So drama, when I'm playing in the drama, the story is not really real, but I'm playing beautifully because it's fun. So I'm taking a different roles in the drama. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I am this role. Life itself is nothing but drama. Because I'm taking a role on the stage, then I have to play the role properly as the role demands. Other fellow will kick you left and right, that's also part of his role, if it is role. Otherwise you have to kick back. All that drama can go on, yet I am that beyond this also has to be understood. Then only the life becomes a play. The drama becomes only drama when I realize that it is a drama. If I think it is real, then I have a problem. I have a real problem. So I have to understand, while living in the world, that I am beyond the world. That's what is called knowledge. Wise man is the one who recognizes this, at the same time lives the world beautifully as a drama of life itself. Like a sport. Sport is, playing itself is a fun. Not winning. Winning is no problem. Once you play, the beauty is in the playing itself. The same way, life itself becomes a beautiful if I know how to play. So therefore, tataha, therefore, Brahma Anantyam, that limitless Brahman is Sputam, is very clear now. Whether you're clear for him or at least clear for Vidyaranya. So for us, it should be clear by constantly contemplating on this. Because after the class is over, we are back to the same. So we have to keep thinking at this. This is in fact is not really real, but I can play the game as though it is a drama. Then there is no problem. So roles will have a problem. As a mother I have a problem, as a father I may have a problem, as an employee may have a problem. The problem belongs to the roles. So play the role as ever that roles requires. It's all the so-called, that's what not really problem. There are situations that has to be addressed. So we'll stop here because from 37 to 43 is the end of the chapter. We can do the next week, complete the chapter and take the next chapter after that. That is chapter 4. So we'll start with this and first do Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavaşişyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let's stop this first.